Well, today for our second stop of our tour of zoo horticulture, we're at the Oklahoma City Zoo. And with me is Pearl Pearson. She's the horticultural curator here. And today Pearl is going to give us a tour along with several of her horticultural staff. And Pearl, thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having us, Brenda.
Now, Pearl, what is the specific thing about horticulture at a zoo that makes it special?
Well, a zoo's really a wonderful place. It provides a setting for several different aspects to horticulture. First and foremost, it gives us an opportunity to design a lush and somewhat wild landscape. There's also plenty of areas for us to display different plant collections and garden types. We have a computerized plant record program where we actually have about 70% of the plant material identified with all sorts of interesting information on them, and a lot of our plants are labeled. Probably the most important thing about being in a zoo is it gives us an opportunity to attempt to immerse the zoo visitor in the landscape of several of the wild animals that are on the zoo grounds.
Now, this is an important part of educating the visitor about habitats.
Yes, the role of the zoo horticulturist really has increased in importance over the years, as zoos really worldwide have become more concerned with educating the public on the importance of conserving the total habitats.
Now, we're standing here in front of one of the newest exhibits at the zoo, or the newest exhibit at the Oklahoma City Zoo. And what have we got here?
Well, this is the Cat Forest Lion Overlook area, and this specific exhibit here is the Lion Overlook. And what we've attempted to do here is to replicate an African savanna, an overlook area surrounded by what we call copies, or rocks that are found out in the African savanna. Some of the plant material we have used in here are gladizias to replicate acacia species found in the African savanna area, and several types of grasses, miscanthus species and erianthus, to kind of give that feeling of clumps of grasses. And small hawthorn trees and barberries, because a lot of the shrubland areas around these African savannas are thorny plants in nature.
So basically, you've used plant materials that grow here to imitate the environment of the animals.
That's right. And this type of exhibit also is very beneficial to the health of the animal, too.
Well, this is just one of the large cat exhibits, and we're going to go take a look at the snow leopard exhibit, and Lewis Scott is going to give us a tour of that. Well, as I said, we're here at the snow leopard exhibit at the zoo, and Lewis Scott, a horticulture technician here, is going to tell us all about it. And thanks for showing us around, Lewis.
Hi, Brenda. Thanks for being here. As you were saying, we're at the snow leopard exhibit here. One of the things that we're working on in this area is to try to recreate the feel of a tree line, border tree line area in an alpine zone. Some of the plants that we have here, we're really concentrating on plants of Asian origin to match that geographical region. For example, behind us here we have a lot of the Chinese holly selections, Ilex cornuta. We also have a lot of the Chinese juniper selections, Juniperus chinensis.
So now this helps recreate the Asian feel, even though this material may not be.
Right, some of these you can't be strolling around Asia and go, oh, I saw that at the Oklahoma City Zoo, because some of these are selections of Asian material from garden origin. But we try to get as close a feel of replication as possible.
Well, I noticed that there are different areas of the zoo here and different interaction areas, and how do you deal with that?
Well, one of the things that's kind of interesting about that is the landscaping tries to immerse the visitor in the feel of the total ecosystem of the animal. One of the interesting things is, of course, on the outside of the exhibit area, we can concentrate more on plant material that is supportive in that nature, but also maybe of more interest to the human visitor as opposed to the animal resident. Within the exhibit, we have to be very cautious about the plant material we use. We have to be concerned with issues of toxicity to the animal, whether the animal could actually physically injure itself on the plant material. So some of the plant material we actually use on the outside that doesn't have some of those kinds of qualities.
So Lewis, a lot of the plant materials that you've used, especially around the perimeter of this exhibit, would be readily available to homeowners.
Yeah, as we were talking about earlier, some of the Chinese holly or Chinese junipers are very familiar with home gardeners. Also, we've incorporated some of the azaleas here that are derivatives of Asian cultivars. So a lot of this material is commonly available at local nurseries in case a home gardener wanted to recreate this type of environment.
Well, I'm sure we may have some viewers that may want to do that in their own home, and thank you so much for giving it.
Thank you for being here.
So, well, in addition to the plant material that they've used here, one of the plant materials that they've stressed a lot is a collection of bamboo that is hardy in Oklahoma. And Sheila MacArthur is going to give us a tour of that. Well, the bamboo collection here is basically part of a bamboo maze, and Sheila MacArthur, who's a horticulture technician, is in charge of this part of the zoo, right?
Yes. You know, what we try to do at the zoo in zoological horticulture is incorporate landscape immersion. We have the landscape as natural as possible from where the animals are from. And like the Sumatran tigers and tigers from Asia, bamboo is a very well-known plant from the area of Asia, and it's very easily grown in Oklahoma. And that's one reason we did grow the bamboo maze, and also for the educational purposes. And there are a lot of bamboo that are hardy here in Oklahoma. And also that there's over 1,000 species of bamboo around the world, and of those 1,000, we have 31 here at the Oklahoma City Zoo. So that's real unusual that you find that many different species in one place where you actually can come see and look at them. And also we have a bamboo that's actually native to Oklahoma, and a lot of people aren't aware of. And one of them is here. It's called Arundinaria gigantea, and it grows native in eastern Oklahoma. So that's one that is available and that you can grow. It grows about 20 feet tall. And bamboo is really very easy to grow if you know a few cultural aspects. And one is that bamboo will grow in any well-drained soil, and it likes to be well-watered, and it likes to be heavily mulched. And if you can do those few things, you can have a nice collection of bamboo right in your backyard.
Well, your collection here is well labeled, and maybe some of the viewers at home would like to see some of the different species that you have.
Well, as I said, we have 31 different species, and what we try to incorporate is not only the different genus, but the different types of bamboo and the different interests that the different bamboo show. One of which, you know, that bamboo, the basic growth habit is it's in the grass family. And so you have, it has rhizome root growth, and it has culms. And many of the culms, these are the culms right here, come in different colors. Right here we have the Phylostachys genus. This is a very beautiful bamboo. It's Phylostachys nigra, nigra meaning black. And as you can see here, this is very distinguished as being like a black culm. The first year the culm comes up green. As it matures, it turns black. And since we do try to educate the public, we have 3 different types here. This is the genus species Phylostachys nigra, and then we have 2 cultivars. This is the Phylostachys nigra borii, which is well known as a snakeskin bamboo. And the reason we call it snakeskin is that the mature culms often look like a type of snakeskin. If you look here back on this mature culm, you can see it has a distinct pattern. And that's what the horticultural interest is in this bamboo, is the snake pattern.
That's a very nice look.
And also of the Phylostachys nigra, we have Henonis. And instead of being black or splotched or like the snakeskin, it just has green culms. But this way you can see this is the same genus species with 3 different types. And there's 2 types of bamboo. There's a running bamboo and the clumping bamboo. And so the Phylostachys is a running type, and as you can see, this is one of the rhizomes that have come up that's starting to grow.
Now, is there a problem with containment of bamboo?
Yes, the running bamboo is very vigorous, and if you're going to have it in your backyard, one way you can contain it is planting a large hole and placing 30 mil plastic in that hole, and that will contain the bamboo. Another thing you can do, as the rhizomes grow out the ground, you can cut those back or cut them with a shovel. Or you can try to find the clumping type bamboo that grow very slowly, and they won't invade your garden.
Now, this bamboo here is very striking. It's got a lot of variegation in it.
What we also try to do is, for different interests, is show a lot of people think bamboo is just green. Well, bamboo comes in all different colors, and this is the Arundinaria argenteo-striata, which means that it has the white leaves, the green stripes. This is a variegation. And it's very beautiful in the landscape, especially a lot of landscape material that you think evergreen is just green. So bamboo is an evergreen plant. And also we have the Arundinaria argenteo-striata, which is a yellow and green variegation, which we have in another part of the maze. So this gives you a different aspect of the different types of bamboo that you can have in your garden.
Now, Sheila, Bamboo can be very vigorous growing, but you got one that's especially vigorous here.
The most vigorous growing bamboo that we here have in our collection is a Philostachys vivax, and it's known as the timber bamboo, and it is the fastest growing.
That would be good if somebody wanted to fill in an area very rapidly.
It will fill in the area very rapidly. In fact, it will take over your yard.
Okay. Well, also another aspect of growing bamboo is its hardiness. And you have a specific species that is more hardy?
We have one that's very hardy and that grows well here in Oklahoma. It's the Philostachys nuda, and it's known as the most hardy bamboo.
Right. Well, thank you very much for this tour, Sheila.
You're welcome.
And in addition to having people and plant interactions, they have a specific area here at the zoo known as the Browse Garden at the Great Escape, and Brenda Simons is going to give us a tour of that. We're here at the Browse Garden in the Great Escape, and with me is Edith Simons. She's a horticulture supervisor here. And Edith, what exactly is a Browse Garden used for?
The Browse Garden here is used for the diet of the great apes. The keepers come in and they'll cut back all this plant material and put it in the habitats and spread it all out for the apes to look for and search for.
Well, that's very interesting. What specific plant materials do you have in here that the apes like to eat?
One of their favorites is the mulberry, along with coyote willow and red twig dogwood.
Well, thank you very much. This is a very interesting aspect of horticulture, Edith. Well, our last stop on our zoo tour is the wonderful butterfly garden that they have here, and Lewis Scott is going to give us a tour of it. Well, Lewis, the butterfly garden looks absolutely beautiful right now with wonderful flowers and butterflies.
Yeah, one of the things we've really tried to do here at the butterfly garden is to incorporate all the plants that are necessary for a butterfly's life cycle. One of the plants, of course, that's very important is a nectaring or a food plant for an adult butterfly, such as these pentas. We really try to group these in large swaths so that the butterflies really notice the food source. Also for caterpillars or a host plant, in the back we have annual butterfly weed for the caterpillars to feed upon. Also in various areas we've incorporated some free-stack dry stone walls so that there is some extra heat for the butterflies, especially on cooler or cloudier days, so that they have a surface to warm up on.
Well, these are great, and for a person that may not know how to make a butterfly garden, you've got some excellent signage here to tell them all about it.
Yes, also in the garden here there's a lot of graphic signage that explains exactly what to do to create a butterfly garden and some of the points to address so that the entire life cycle of the butterfly is completed.
Well, thank you for the tour of the butterfly garden, Lewis.
Thank you for being here.
And if someone would like to visit the zoo to see the plants as well as the animals, when are you open?
We're open every day of the year except Christmas and New Year's.
Okay. Well, this will be a great opportunity to come check out some of the horticulture at the zoo as well as have a fun day observing the animals. And again, we would like to thank the horticulture staff at the Oklahoma City Zoo for this wonderful tour. Well, we're about out of time today on Oklahoma Gardening, but before we go, we've got a few items on our viewers' bulletin board. First off, our first Saturday of the month open house at the